This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 6th day of July in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Climate adaptation, energy, and food security were among the key issues that took center stage as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with President Irfan Ali at State House this afternoon during the Secretary of State's brief visit to Guyana. The top U.S. official who arrived in the country from Trinidad and Tobago described the high-level meeting with President Ali as very productive and a significant step as the two countries strengthen their bilateral relations. He said though Guyana is in line to become the highest oil-producing country per capita in the world, it remains a leader in forest conservation, thereby demonstrating it is possible to prioritize climate mitigation and environmental protection while responsibly using fossil fuel resources. Citing an example, Mr. Blinken pointed to the $750 million agreement that Guyana inked with the Hess Corporation for the sale of carbon credits. As he applauded the move, the U.S. Secretary of State said the U.S. stands ready to help Guyana achieve energy security.
Our own Export-Import Bank is working closely with the Guinean government on a major gas-to-energy project that's going to cut emissions by 50%. American companies can bring unparalleled expertise, high labor and environmental standards, and transparency to help power Guyana's dynamic growth, to advance regional energy security, to deliver tangible benefits to all the people.
Aside from that, the U.S. Secretary of State said the U.S. appreciates the increasingly significant role that Guyana is playing in addressing regional and global issues, as it sits on the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and starting in January at the United Nations Security Council. Food security, Mr. Blinken said, is also a priority for both countries as the world continues to grapple with the effects of climate crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the global conflicts, including the Russian aggression against Ukraine. The impact, he said, has been tremendous, with food prices skyrocketing in the Caribbean and other parts of the world.
We're grateful to Guyana for co-chairing the U.S. Caribbean High-Level Action Committee on Food Security, where the country is leading efforts to expand small farmers' access to technology, reducing barriers to trade, reducing barriers to transportation.
According to the U.S. Secretary of State, the U.S. government will continue to invest in even more resources to boost the capacity of the region to sustainably produce food. He said Guyana will continue to be a crucial part of those efforts. Mr. Blinken also spoke of the importance of climate adaptation, the need for multilateral development banks to be reformed to better respond to the needs of the region, and the moves to address transnational crimes. While addressing the issues of climate adaptation, food and energy security, President Ali spoke extensively about the U.S. investments in Guyana over the years, telling reporters that the U.S. is one of Guyana's strongest partners.
As you're all aware, the United States of America is one of our strongest partners. We share many common values and principles. We both believe in the rule of law, democracy, and ensuring that everyone, every country, abides and work within a democratic framework. The United States is Guyana's largest trading partner, with accumulated trade of over US $3.9 billion in 2022. The United States is overall ranked our number one export by destination, $2.7 billion in 2022, and our number one import by source, $1.2 billion.
The president said the U.S.-Guyana relationship spans many sectors, with the two countries sharing common values and principles of democracy. He said the relationship will only get stronger. The U.S. Secretary of State left Guyana this evening following meetings at the U.S. Embassy with the opposition leader and embassy staff. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord! I just love to shop in this store. My customers them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Strong and solid in countries far and wide. New India Assurance, we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to us.
New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 2260-415-7. Comfortable parking available.
Welcome back. Let's tell you now that just after his meeting with President Irfan Ali and the joint press conference, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Guyana's opposition leader Aubrey Norton at the U.S. Embassy. At the meeting this afternoon, Mr. Norton said that in addition to raising a number of national issues with the U.S. Secretary of State, he also presented him with a dossier that contained a number of concerns and other issues that the opposition wanted to bring to the attention of the U.S. government. In a telephone interview with News Source this afternoon, Mr. Norton explained that he felt it was necessary that the U.S. be apprised of many of the pressing issues facing the people of Guyana.
It contained a number of issues. It contained the question of food and energy security. It dealt with the oil sector. I pointed out that there's an over-focus on capital expenditure for infrastructure, but no real focus on human development. Of course, it was known the fact that we are an oil nation and we live in poverty and the resources aren't trickling down. Those are some of the issues that was dealt with. We basically inform him about the consequences of this kind of economic starvation of the African Guyanese community. Like in my presentation, I spoke to the fact that a one-party state is emerging. We mentioned the politicization of the Guyana Police Force and it operating as an arm of the People's Progressive Party.
Well, the opposition leader said the fact that Guyana has seen the official visit of 2 U.S. Secretaries of State over the past 3 years highlights the reality of Guyana being in focus on the world stage.
The fact that, and I made this mention to him, the fact that we've had the visit of 2 Secretaries of State in under 4 years is indicative of the fact that a lot of interest is being paid in Guyana. I underscore the fact that he himself said in his talk with the Western Hemispheric Group that they are looking towards a free, secure, open and prosperous world. And I said to them, we endorse those sentiments, but we also believe that in the Guyana context there's inclusiveness.
The last U.S. Secretary of State to visit Guyana was Mike Pompeo back in 2020. During his visit, he did not have any engagements with the opposition. News source understands that government officials were unaware of the planned meeting between the U.S. Secretary of State and the opposition leader, and may have been blindsided when they received information about the meeting. Mr. Norton told news source that he also used the meeting to raise the issue of electoral reform and the need for an improved election system ahead of the next elections in 2025 in Guyana.
I did indicate that the guardrails of democracy are being removed and that Guyana is virtually a one-party state. I suggested that we need to move in the direction of inclusiveness. In the discussion, I also took the opportunity to point out that there isn't economic freedom in Guyana and that the contracts are allocated in a very discriminatory way. He seems very much interested in us being able to have a kind of a stable situation after the next election. And I said essentially that is possible once we can get a clean voters list and biometrics, among other things.
The opposition has been raising a number of governance issues with the international community. The U.S. Secretary of State is the highest-ranking U.S. government official to engage the current opposition leader. With the teen who made rape allegations against the now former government minister Nigel Daramalal opting to no longer pursue the matter, resulting in the case never meeting the courts, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo is blaming the teen's decision on the public protests on the matter, although those protests were in support of her. During an interview that was released on his Facebook page today, the Vice President said the protesters were not interested in justice, but rather wanted to make a political point.
Our objective was that there must be a fair process that leads to justice and being fair to both parties, to have them present their cases and let those cases be determined by the relevant agencies.
The opposition APNU and a number of other groups, including the Amerindian People's Association and the Red Thread Organization, have been protesting for justice to be done in the matter. The protests have been continuing, although Daramalal has since resigned as a government minister and a member of parliament. Today, the vice president said the issue is a contentious one. He said that he does not believe that a schoolgirl who made the complaint against the minister was doing so as a political issue, but he is convinced it was made into one once the protest started.
Now that Nigel Daramalal has resigned, they were calling for his resignation or for him to be fired. He is resigned now, but they still continue the protest. And in my view, they had not a single ounce of sympathy or empathy for this girl. They didn't care anything about the accusation or the report. For them, it was a political issue.
Jagdeo described Daramalal as a good minister and efficient person who he said is committed to the task of national development. He also said the matter has taken a toll on Daramalal and his family. The 16-year-old schoolgirl detailed her allegations of rape and sexual assault in a statement that was released on social media, triggering the investigations. She was immediately placed in protective custody and faced a number of interviews about the allegations. She maintained her position until the DPP requested additional information and further investigations. The young girl opted to sign a no further action statement once she learned of the additional interviewing sessions that she would need to face about the alleged rape.
Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
So what going on, champ? I passed here last week and this shop lock up tight.
Why? We come down with the flow, so we have to take a couple days.
I can't deal with them kind of setbacks, Bano. I just get a headache when you see I can't make me little bread.
I know them ways, champ. But thank God for NIS.
NIS? What you got to do now with NIS?
I mean, what I got to do with NIS? I registered as self-employed and I make monthly contributions to NIS. So you see, for them days I lose, NIS pay me back for most of them days.
What? That is good. You know, I always used to believe that it's only people in big offices and so they pay NIS.
Nah, man. NIS for any working person between the ages of 16 to 60. And as self-employed, you get all the benefit as an employee, except for industrial benefits.
So what I do for set up this thing?
All I gotta do is visit NIS on Breakdown, or if you're living out of town, you visit any NIS closest to your location. And once you register and your registration complete, you can start making NIS contributions.
Alright, so what I walk with and like how much money I gotta pay a month?
I ain't gotta walk with no big money. All I gotta walk with is your birth certificate and any farm ID. And when you reach down there, ask for the compliance department.
Good. Thanks for the information, bro. Soon as I left here, I went straight to the NIS office.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Local government news to report now. Longtime APNU City Councillor and former Deputy Mayor Alfred Mentor was this morning elected the Mayor of Georgetown, replacing Pandit Ubraj Narayana. New APNU Councillor Denise Miller will now serve as the new Deputy Mayor. Both Mentor and Miller received the full backing of their party, the APNU, when the new councillors were sworn into office and met for the first time to vote for the top two positions. The APNU has 19 seats on the Georgetown City Council, while the PPP has 11. It did not take long for the new council to be dissolved into some confusion as the parties clashed over the election to the various committees. Former Mayor of Georgetown, Patricia Chase Green, who is now a councillor for the PPP, clashed repeatedly with her former APNU colleagues over a number of procedural issues. Public Affairs Minister Kwame McCoy, who was present to witness the swearing in of the new councillors, was heard heckling loudly before walking out of the meeting as the new mayor stood to address the council. Chase Green was 2 steps behind him. In his maiden address to the council as mayor-elect, Mentor thanked the people of Georgetown for their support, saying that his party went into the local government campaign with little resources, but still managed to come triumphant.
Let us turn a new page and let us find a way to reach across the aisle and find ways how we could work together and be able to build the city regardless of who we're in a green shirt or who we're in a red shirt. It's very important, and I believe its time has come for us to be able to address such matters.
Mr. Mentor, who lost his constituency seat but got onto the council through the proportional representation system, promised to be a mayor of all the citizens of Georgetown, and not just some of them.
My friends and councillors, I can assure you that as leader of this team, I will do everything in my power to earn your trust, build relations, and extend an olive branch to our PPP councillors here and central government leaders as a whole to work to improve the city infrastructure and bring a better life to all.
And he also said while it is hard to build a new culture, at a time when there is so much division, rancor and lack of trust, the City Council must push forward while bringing a higher level of honesty, transparency and accountability. Mr. Mentor said before the councillors a number of serious issues such as flooding in the city, poor infrastructure, deplorable roads and markets that must be addressed. However, there is a need for unity in resolving many of those issues, he noted.
As such, we need a stronger sense of teamwork. As someone who has built my reputation both as an independent entrepreneur and also as someone involved in the sport of cricket at the highest level, I know and appreciate the value of teamwork. We could not succeed in cricket unless we played and governed as a team. As we cannot succeed as a municipality or a local government organ without being a team.
The APNU's Leland Saul was elected chairman of the council's finance committee. The other members of that committee are Troy Garraway, Clayton Hines, Yvonne Ferguson, Tahiri Adams, and Jai Singh. Chase Green, who was steady on her feet, challenging almost all of the decisions taken by the city council today, objected to the mayor being elected to the finance committee. Former cricketer Stephen Jacobs is among the PPP Civic councillors. In Linden, with a promise of strong leadership, former Region 10 Chairman Sharma Solomon of the APNU was elected as the new mayor of Linden. Addressing the council following his election, Mr. Solomon said the new council will work hard to represent the people of Linden and address their challenges. He said the town has the potential to be among the best in the country, but tough decisions will have to be made. The new Linden mayor promised transformation of the town and said he is hoping for the full support of the government since the council is ready to work with the administration for the benefit of citizens. Mr. Solomon said the new council intends to have a new approach in the way it will examine developmental issues.
The good news is that we have the will, the ideas and the core resources to make good decisions, implement wise, sustainable plans, in order to encourage, recognize, and to capitalize on these great human resources our community has to offer. Our council will give strong support to this administration, but we will expect on behalf of the citizens and of this community at large, good services.
He has also promised to be accessible to the people of Linden so that he can work along with them and address their concerns.
It will be at the core of the challenge of this council to organize, prioritize, sustain open and transparent processes to ensure that the communities that we work to support pulls together and to make real every progress. Nothing will come easy. There will be many tough decisions that must be made by this town council and constituencies, but the reward of our labor will be great.
The new mayor of Linden said the council will not be a lazy one and that there will be constituency representation to the people of Linden. He also called on the people of Linden to hold all of their representatives accountable. Linden businessman Dominic Blair has been elected the deputy mayor. Vice President Bara Jagdeo today expressed his frustration over what he called a worrying issue. He said while the government is doing its best to make the lives of citizens easier, there appears to be persons within the government system who are causing a headache for citizens, and that effectively makes the government look bad. Mr. Jagdeo singled out the National Insurance Scheme and said it continues to be one of those agencies where lax behavior is prevalent and where citizens are finding it difficult to conduct business. The National Insurance Scheme falls under the Ministry of Finance.
It means now that people have to be held more responsible for that. We have to start firing some of these people who will do these things. We have to start doing that. You hear a lot of gripe when you fire some of these individuals, but you have to do that. That's the only way that I think people will do what they're paid to do in many cases.
The vice president said he has taken a decision to go to the ground now and engage citizens, and the complaints are worrying. He made the comments in an interview that was released on his Facebook page.
So there are lots of those things that bother me, where the system should be working for people. System should be working, and often it doesn't happen because people who get paid to carry out their responsibilities do not do so conscientiously.
According to Jagdeo, the government's policy is to ease the burden of citizens, and that will not yield fruits once there are persons in the system who do not do their work.
And this happens routinely. This happens routinely in many government agencies. NIS, we've had to intervene on hundreds of cases with NIS. The same thing, you saw the callous kind of letter that went out to the market vendors at on the railway embankment at Pleasance. 7 days you have to get off the property. This is government property. Just creating more trouble for us. So we need to look into these things more often.
Jagdeo said it is unacceptable for citizens to wait 2 to 3 weeks for one document to be signed when such can be done in one day. He said it is expected that people who are paid by the state to do their jobs do so conscientiously.
Did you know that choosing Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline or ultra low sulfur diesel can save you money in the long run? Using high quality fuel with advanced formulations can improve your engine's performance and fuel economy, resulting in fewer trips to the gas station and lower maintenance costs over time. Plus, with Guy Oil's competitive prices, you'll enjoy great value for your money. Don't settle for low quality fuels that can harm your engine and the environment. Choose Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline or ULSD for a cleaner, more efficient ride that saves you money.
Sorry.
Jack?
Hey.
Boys, where you going with all that speed?
Yo, today's the 15th. My NIS contributions are due, and I ain't even get the forms as yet.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that you're not aware that all self-employed persons can now make their NIS contributions using the MMG app from the comforts of their homes and offices?
Really? I just pay my bills using MMG,
Yes, Jack, and the thing's simple. All you have to do is open the app, select Pay Bills, Government Services, NIS, and Pay. They will prompt you to enter your NIS number, the month you're paying for, and the amount.
So I don't need to submit any form?
No. The only time you submit in a form is when you're making a claim.
Wait. I could make a claim too?
Oh, no, man. You didn't know that? Yes. All self-employed persons are entitled to all benefits from NIS. Well, except for the industrial benefits. And here's the good part. All of their forms, you can download them from the NIS website.
Girl, I'm really glad I bumped into you.
Anyhow, make sure you pay your bills later.
Later? I gotta sit down right here and pay my contributions first.
Take care.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Swetlada Marshall in the region.
CARICOM leaders have once again urged the United States to lift its sanctions against Venezuela. CARICOM chairman and Dominica Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett said leaders have also appealed for the U.S. blockade on Cuba to be lifted and for assistance to be rendered to crisis-struck Haiti. Speaking at a news conference which marked the end of the 45th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting last night at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Port of Spain, Scarrett said the region's heads believe that after so many years, the United States must act to remove the sanctions on Venezuela. He said the Caribbean countries that are signatories and beneficiaries of the Petro-Caribbean Agreement have suffered immensely. The CARICOM chairman explained that the Petro-Caribbean Agreement has virtually come to a halt in some of the CARICOM countries because of the inability of Venezuela to export. Scarrett said everyone else in the Caribbean should be formed with respect to the removal of the U.S. sanctions on Venezuela. Guatemala presidential candidate Bernardo Arevalo, the surprise second-place finisher in the second-round elections, said the government is behind attempts to question the results and wants to remove him from the runoff. The country's top court called for a ballot review of the June 25 vote after the ruling party Vamos first-place finisher Sandra Torres and other allied parties alleged there were irregularities. The move has drawn international criticism, including from the United States and the European Union, who have said that there were no indications of problems with the results. The Organization of American States said its election observers would return to monitor the review. In an interview with Reuters on Tuesday, Arevalo, a 64-year-old sociologist and son of former President Juan Jose Arevalo, said he feared the corrupt political class could attempt to delay the electoral process until January 14, a deadline that allows the current Congress to appoint a new president if one has not been elected. And finally tonight, international news. Twitter is considering legal action against Meta over its fast-growing rival app Threads. Threads, which was launched to millions on Wednesday, is similar to Twitter and has been pitched by Meta bosses as a friendly alternative. Twitter's Elon Musk said competition is fair, cheating is not, but Meta denied claims in a legal letter that ex-Twitter staff helped create Threads. More than 30 million people have signed up for the new app, according to Meta. The look and feel of Threads is similar to Twitter, BBC News technology reporter James Clayton noted. He said the news feed and the reposting were incredibly similar. Twitter attorney Alex Spirio sent a letter to Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Wednesday, accusing Meta of systematic, willful and unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets and other intellectual property to create Threads.
And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.